Welcome back everyone, Basti here, and in today's video I wanted to do an update on the previous video I made about a month ago on the current status of unemployment in the US and some of the job struggles that a lot of Gen Z and younger people are dealing with, as well as the fall off in the labor market and the transition from a hiring market that we saw a couple years ago to the recessionary market where there's higher unemployment, fewer jobs, and more competition that we're seeing, leading to workers having to apply to thousands of jobs to get a response, and the struggle and competition for such few available jobs that are in the market. Especially this summer we're seeing companies be pickier with the talent that they're bringing on in their companies, and they're also offering lower compensation and even trimming the fat in their companies, like we're seeing with these tech companies and the massive layoffs that are still ongoing. And that brings me to the follow-up, and I made that video about a month ago. You guys really liked it, so I wanted to do the current jobs report for July. Kind of like what I was saying in the last video, the data lag was kind of masking the reality, and you guys, as well as other people you may be close to or about a month ago I dropped that video on Gen Z unemployment and internships collapsing. Now with the July jobs report, which dropped on August 1st, it's really worse than anyone really expected. Even the claims and predictions I made does align with some of the predictions I made in that last video, but it definitely shows in this data it's definitely worse than a lot of people expected. The labor market's slowing fast, job cuts are rising, and the Federal Reserve rate cuts could be here in September. Let's break it down. The key points in this video I want to get across is headlining the unemployment rate and how it's masking the underlying weakness in the market. While 4.2% seems stable, the increase in unemployment shows instability in the market and market deterioration. There's also a youth unemployment crisis. Teen unemployment jumped 2.6 points to 15.2%. Long-term unemployment is surging. Nearly 1 in 4 unemployed people have been jobless for 6+ months. In general, the job market is cooling rapidly, even quicker than a lot of people expected. Only 73,000 jobs were added versus the typical 150 to 200,000 jobs that we've been seeing month to month. Previous months were weaker than reported. Massive downward revisions show that the job market is significantly softening. There's also decent size of the job market that are getting discouraged. A lot more people are giving up on the job search. Labor force participation is declining, which is not good for the US economy, as well as the quality of jobs. Companies now have the leverage for it not being a hiring market and more of a recessionary one. So more people are stuck in part-time work. Full-time jobs are paying less now, even with the high inflation that we're seeing. Those are the main points, but stick around and we'll dive right into the numbers. In the jobs report from May and June, employers added 73,000 jobs in July, far below the 105,000 that were expected. Total unemployment rose to 7.2 million people, which is a 221,000 increase from June. Between the months of May, June, and July, we're seeing 258,000 fewer jobs than initially reported in that 3-month span. With all these numbers, this kind of culminates to my point that this is not a strong labor market. It's already weakening. It hasn't even hit rock bottom yet. And this is really what I meant with the lag in the data, and it's now starting to show up, and this is just the beginning. So this brings me to the Fed's dilemma, their dual mandate to control inflation and maintain maximum employment. And this is Jerome Powell's mandate. This past meeting last week, they ended up not cutting or increasing rates because these numbers weren't out yet, and the Fed was under the impression that the labor market was steady. The labor market is now breaking down, and that puts major pressure on the Fed to act. Just last month, I was leaning towards no rate cuts until 2026, if you saw my last video, but I've changed my view. Markets now price in around 75 to 80% odds of a September rate cut, up from 38% predicted just a month ago. And if my predictions are correct and the dramatic fall off in the labor market, if we see significant decrease in the labor market, possibly even see early stage quantitative easing. And this brings me to why it matters to you. So how can we take advantage of the possible rate cuts that we'll see by the end of 2025? If you've been holding risk assets like tech stocks, crypto, long duration bonds, this presents a unique and lucrative opportunity for those holding assets. We're now in an environment where job growth is stalling, unemployment is rising, and the Fed's dual mandate is in conflict with inflation. This opens the door for rate cuts much sooner than the market originally priced in, and that shift in monetary policy has big implications on asset prices. If rate cuts come early, cost of capital goes down, and we'll likely see tech-heavy indexes jump up in price. If you hold crypto thrives on liquidity and low rates. As more money is in the market, people start to spend and buy assets. If quantitative easing starts this year and starts guiding towards rate cuts, Bitcoin and other coins will soon jump up in demand. Those are the type of things I would follow closely. Ultimately, the labor market breaking down is not good news for workers, but it is good news for investors and capital markets. The Fed pivot could be a lifeline. While the headlines might still be catching up, I would trust in the data, and we're seeing the early signs of a bloodbath in the labor market. And for those that have already been paying attention, we've already seen that this day has been on the horizon. If you got assets, this shift has major implications. Once rates are cut, those who have assets will see an appreciation in assets and capital markets. That's the wrap up on the key unemployment data points that we got for July 2025. Make sure you stay informed, think long term, and trust in the data. If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking and your experience in this hiring market. If you want to see more breakdown videos and investment strategy videos like this one, leave a like if you enjoyed and drop a comment of your experiences and predictions on the market. Peace.